Okay, so we're just going to talk you through a little bit about Assistant on Android TV, what we can actually enable for operators in terms of how you can utilize the Assistant APIs to integrate a much more seamless experience with regards to your content. So for Google, it's really been a big focus for us to create a thoughtful home, a thoughtful smart home for the users. And we do this in partnerships with our, all the partners that we have here in the room and others to enable real good consistency across media and entertainment, comfort and control, so being able to control the lighting in your home, being able to turn down the temperature if it's getting too hot, home security through alarms, through Ring doorbells, energy optimization through, again, thermostats, being able to control the temperature in any room in the house, and even being able to control the smart home through your own car, through automotive. So you can see within Google, there's this real IoT thread that runs throughout. And it is the Google Assistant that is the interface that's connecting all of those devices seamlessly. So, as I mentioned, with Assistant, it can control all these devices intuitively within the home. And we have over 10,000 brands that have developed for Assistant. And we have over 200,000 different device models out there across all of this different range of form factors that are supported by Assistant. So you have, speakers, set-top boxes, TVs, and beyond. And the limits are endless, really, when you think about how many brands can continue to incorporate Assistant into their experiences and how many devices can launch. Over time, with AI and with the Assistant capabilities growing, we're really going to see a really engaged IoT home strategy. And we think within that strategy that Android TV is well positioned within the home to really become the smart home, the smart sort of hub for entertainment and media services. So what is the vision for Assistant on Android TV? Well, actually, this vision is already being realized. All of these use cases you can see here are available today. So first and foremost, we want to make content discovery much more simpler. We want to flatten the UI through voice. So you no longer need to go to your applications to scroll through, then navigate to Netflix in order to launch it, to then find what you want to watch. You can now just say, play Stranger Things on Netflix, and it will start playing. Similarly, control of TV and content playback through voice. So we've all been there where we're sitting down, we're watching a great film, and all of a sudden the doorbell rings or someone's interrupting you. Now you can just sort of pause the content, go and do what you need to do, come back, and you're not disturbed. Controlling IoT devices, so we've seen some really good examples with some of our partners and how they're trying to create sort of movie modes, for example. So, you're about to sit down for a movie, say, turn movie mode on, all of a sudden the lights go down. You can imagine a scenario where, if you have a IoT-connected blinds, the blinds could go down. There's a whole ambience that can be created through IoT, and TV is central to that experience. And then obviously Assistant on Android TV does all the standard things that you can do with Assistant on your mobile. So things like getting answers, who played this actor in this particular film? Again, if you're sitting at home and you're trying to scratch your head thinking, where have I seen this actor before? You can just ask these questions directly to the TV. You no longer need to go to IMDb to find out that information. Everything is so much more seamless. It literally is your assistant in your pockets. And then last but not least is access to third-party services directly through Google Assistant. So as Pierre mentioned, we've got thousands of applications on Google Play, and you as an operator could go through and decide which apps are relevant to you. But beyond that, you could even partner with these app providers, and maybe work with Uber to allow your customer base to call an Uber directly from their sofa, or to order a pizza from Domino's. So some really exciting use cases which can be explored. In terms of Assistant on Android TV, we've been rolling out progressively to different countries. We're now live in over 10 markets, and by the end of 2019, we'll be in over 25 markets. So you can see even the difference in the number of countries we're trying to target in 2019. You can see this real ramp up. We know it's a feature that everyone wants. But I will make you aware, just in case you're upset if you can't see your country there, the search functionality is also very good. So In terms of contextual search, as I mentioned with Assistant, there's loads of user experiences you can utilize. But for operators specifically, there's a lot of TV-specific use cases that you can use. For example, you're sitting down watching TV, you're not sure what to watch, so you can just say, what's good tonight? And through the API integrations we can do with you, we can surface operator-related content to the user. And it can be personalized to them. It's you that's serving this content. You decide what's relevant to that particular user. We send the context of the user when we send the request, so you know exactly what they're doing at that moment in time, which can enable you to send really relevant content to them there and then. Similarly, if you want to switch to a different channel or to switch to a specific piece of content, you could say, for example, tune to Game of Thrones, and then Game of Thrones will seamlessly start playing. So how do we enable all of this for Assistant and operators? So for operators, we have what we call cloud-to-cloud API integrations. And there's 3 APIs, and I can talk through in more detail, maybe in the Q&A if anyone wants to ask. But essentially, we're working with some early access partners right now. When that's complete, we're hoping to make these APIs available to everyone in the beginning of May timeframe. And once you have these APIs implemented, there's 4 things that can be unlocked. So first and foremost, it's the UX customizations and branding. So this is similar to what Pierre showed you, where the UI interface is delivered by Google, but all the content is delivered by you as the operator. Secondly, we prioritize all your results in search if your app is in the foreground at the time. We extend coverage to various different types of operator use cases. So things like, as I mentioned, what's on tonight? Can you record House of Cards? And lastly, as an optional, you could actually improve search quality even further by ingesting your VOD and live content into our Google Knowledge Graph. So again, this is similar to what you saw through Pierre's demonstration. This is the UI that displays when a user says, show me science fiction movies. So we will display a peep mode that would display over whatever you're watching at that time. And although we host the actual UI, everything in blue is delivered by the operator. So the logo, and then on the far left-hand side, you've got the pack shots that you deliver. We have this concept called badging. So everything that's circled is a badge. So you can actually deliver us dynamically updates to say, this is a new item, this is a featured item, this item is being recorded right now by this user. So you can start to see, you can be really interactive in the way that you engage with the customer and the way you return results specific to their needs. So this is a list-seeking query. And the second type of result would be an entity-seeking query. So in this case, a user has said, ghost in a shell. So we return an entity page with all the details around this ghost in a shell movie title. Again, everything in blue is delivered by the operator. So it's really key to mention here that you have full control over what content you serve. You decide how to respond to a query. You decide what metadata you want to send for that query. And more importantly, there's 3 watch actions dedicated to you as an operator. So here in this instance, we've said watch film now, record now, save now. You as the operator have the option to choose what those 3 watch actions say. And again, it's dynamically driven. So you can use the context of the user, what you know about the user, what they're doing right now, to deliver the contextually relevant watch actions. And the last type of query is a built-in action. So this is the mundane stuff, turn the TV on, turn the volume up, set brightness to 50%. Nothing too exciting about that. Nuts and bolts has to be done. However, what is quite exciting is custom device actions. So you as an operator could actually take this concept of a built-in command and set your own commands. So I think if anyone's seen the 3SS demo, they've got a nice experience of changing the mode to kids mode. So you can actually say to the TV, switch to kids mode, and all of a sudden the mode starts changing. And you can use this in any type of way you like. You could say, when is my subscription expiring? is quite endless in terms of the types of examples and scenarios you want to come up with. And we would work with you and consult with you on all of these types of use cases you want to implement, both on the use cases around Assistant itself and any types of built-in custom actions. Hands-free experiences. So this is something that's getting more and more popular now within the space. There are two ways to enable it, really. So we have far-field mic capable devices out there in the Android TV space. So Sony has some far-field based devices, for example. But even more simply, you could just bundle a Google Home Mini with a set-top box and enable that same far-field functionality through the Google Home Mini. And we can just show you an example of that. So, sitting at home, about to watch a movie. Hey Google, turn movie mode on. Sure, turning on movie mode. And then you see the lights go down. So there's some really good interactive ideas around ways in which you can play with this and the ways you can continue to position your brand as the key hub of the IoT for the home. Again, cross-device experiences. So we're in a really great position here. At being Android, we have a platform which is across all different types of devices. And there's that real interconnection between logged-in users from one device to another. So you can imagine a scenario utilizing our messaging API where you might get a notification that the Man City-Liverpool game is on. Would you like to watch it now? Yes, I would. All of a sudden, the game starts playing on the TV. Similarly, you could utilize what we call Fire-based cloud messaging APIs to send messages to your friends. If you want to share a piece of content that's of interest to you, you could do so, and then once it's been shared, they would get a text message and be able to start watching the movie or the football match wherever they are. So these are just all food for thought ideas. It's extending beyond the TV, which is the key point, which is that if you have an Android TV-based device, you have Assistant built in by default. You then have the capabilities to utilize that Assistant functionality and talk to any other Assistant-capable device in the household. So it really makes you think outside of just delivering a pay TV service. And then controlling content from anywhere. So as we mentioned with Android Auto in the cars, you might be driving home, realize I haven't recorded the game, just tell Google over Assistant, and all of a sudden it will start recording. So it's ready for when you get home. So that's the full presentation. Happy to answer questions. Again, as I mentioned, happy to talk through the nuts and bolts of how you go about getting Assistant from a technical perspective. Thank you.